Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a moment to explore the life and, well, the remarkable career of an actor who, for so many of us, became a pretty definitive figure on our screens, Julian McMahon.
Yeah.
His recent passing, at just 56, has prompted us to dive deep into the sources you provided, not just to recap, but to really understand how his unique charisma, his choice of these complex, often kind of morally ambiguous characters, left such an undeniable mark.
Mm-hmm.
What was it about those performances that, resonated so deeply and stuck with us?
It's definitely sad news. And for many, hearing about his passing probably brings back a flood of memories from some really, really iconic roles.
Oh, absolutely.
You might not immediately place the name Julian McMahon, perhaps, but you've almost certainly seen him light up the screen somewhere.
For sure.
So our mission here in this deep dive is basically to synthesize all the info we have on his legacy, give you a comprehensive understanding of his impact on TV and film, especially how he carved out such a distinct niche for himself.
Okay, let's unpack that beginning then, because it is surprising. Julian McMahon, born July 27, 1968, and his father was Sir William McMahon,
Right.
former Prime Minister of Australia.
Yeah.
I mean, that's quite an unexpected path, isn't it? From that kind of influential political family to Hollywood anti-hero. What do the sources say about that first pivot?
Well, what's fascinating is he absolutely did not follow in his father's footsteps. No political path there.
Right.
Instead, he initially moved into modeling, which, really showed an early adaptability, maybe, a willingness to forge his own way rather than being boxed in by his background.
Interesting.
And then he made that deliberate switch to acting in the 90s. And he first got significant recognition back in Australia, particularly on that huge soap opera, Home and Away.
Ah, okay. Home and Away.
Yeah, hugely popular. And for anyone familiar with his Australian roots, sources suggest that even in those early roles, there was maybe a certain intensity, a kind of brooding quality that hinted at the dramatic depth he'd bring later on.
Okay, so he builds this strong foundation in Australia. But then comes that definitive leap, right? The jump to the global stage. What was the role that really, launched him internationally? Made him a household name for millions?
That would undoubtedly be Cole Turner.
Right. Charmed?
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the supernatural series Charmed, he joined in 1999, played this powerful demon, Cole, who falls, deeply in love with one of the Halliwell sisters, Phoebe.
Such a memorable character arc.
Totally. And the sources highlight that his interpretation was seen as really intense and nuanced. He wasn't just a mustache-twirling villain.
No, definitely not.
He was this character grappling with his dual nature, good versus evil inside him. And McMahon apparently conveyed that internal struggle really well. Subtle shifts, showing the human under the demon. That was key for the audience to connect with this inherently dark character.
And it worked.
Oh, yeah. That nuanced portrayal earned him immense popularity. It really showed his ability to make even these supernatural antagonists kind of relatable, compelling.
It's incredible, though, how he could pivot from that, supernatural heartthrob, albeit a conflicted one, to something just completely different. Because in 2003, he takes on what many consider his most iconic role, Christian Troy in Nip Tuck.
Oh, absolutely.
That was a totally different beast, wasn't it?
Completely. Christian Troy was, a truly pivotal role for him, portraying this cynical and seductive plastic surgeon.
Seductive and very cynical.
Exactly. The sources emphasize this was an audacious role that broke traditional hero codes. He wasn't just morally ambiguous. I mean, the show actively made you grapple with his deep cynicism, his narcissism, his often really self-serving actions.
Mm-hmm.
But McMahon's performance just made him so compelling, even when he was intensely unlikable sometimes.
Yeah, magnetic is the word.
Right. It was such a radical departure from the usual, redeemable TV lead back then. And that's probably why it hit so hard.
And the show itself?
The show itself, created by Ryan Murphy, was provocative and acclaimed, became a cultural phenomenon pretty quickly.
It really did.
And if you look at Cole Turner, then Christian Troy, wow, it just powerfully showcases his incredible range and that consistent willingness he had to take on challenging non-traditional characters, often with that sort of morally gray edge, made them totally magnetic.
And he somehow kept that magnetic quality even in those really dark roles. Do the sources, do they reveal anything about his process? Like, how did he inhabit such different demanding characters? Did he have a particular philosophy?
Well, the sources don't really detail a specific acting coach or method per se, but they do frequently mention his professionalism and the depth of his acting. So it seems his strength was really in his ability to just fully commit to these complex inner lives. He brought this grounded realism even to fantastical roles like Cole or, heightened characters like Christian.
Yeah.
He was just really adept at finding the humanity, or at least the compelling internal conflict in characters that could easily have become just like caricatures.
While he definitely became this television staple, it's important to point out he made a significant mark on the big screen, too.
Oh, yeah.
Many of you listening will certainly recognize him from some pretty big blockbuster roles.
That's absolutely right. He notably played Doctor Doom.
Right. Fantastic Four.
Exactly. In the Fantastic Four movie in 2005, and then the sequel, Rise of the Silver Surfer, in 2007, those roles definitely brought him recognition to an even wider audience beyond just his dedicated TV fans.
And it's tough playing under a mask like that.
Totally. It's really a testament to his talent that he could convey that menace, that presence, even beneath the metal mask. Sources mention his command of voice and physicality in those parts, showed he could project charisma and character without just relying on facial expressions. And look, he kept working consistently across different genres, different franchises throughout his career. Other notable TV appearances like Profiler way back, Marvel's Runaways more recently, and FBI, Most Wanted.
Right. He was pretty consistently on our screens in some form.
A steady presence.
So, okay, we've traced this path. From that surprising background, through being a cult TV icon, even a big screen villain, what does this all really mean for his lasting legacy? Since his passing, July 5th, 2025, what's been the nature of the reactions, the tributes?
Yeah, well, his passing definitely sparked numerous reactions across the entertainment world. You saw colleagues, fans, former partners paying these really heartfelt tributes.
Yeah, lots online.
Exactly. Widely hailing his, quote, professionalism, his humor, and the depths of his acting. The sources describe his legacy as a body of work marked by powerful roles, cult series, and rare elegance.
Rare elegance. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
It is. And what's particularly fascinating, I think, is how his choice of these complex, often morally ambiguous characters like Cole, like Christian Troy, just resonated so deeply and stuck with audiences for so long. He really was one of those actors who, as the sources put it, managed to transcend eras while making a lasting impression on viewers' imaginations. Precisely because he wasn't afraid to explore those gray areas of, well, human nature, or demonic nature, I guess.
Huh. Right. Julian McMahon just had this unique ability, didn't he?
Yeah.
To captivate audiences with that distinctive charisma and those incredibly complex portrayals, whether he was playing a supernatural being or, one of TV's most iconic anti-heroes. He really did leave an undeniable mark on popular culture. Defined an era, in a way, through characters who were always blurring those lines between hero and villain.
And maybe that raises an important question, for you listening to consider. How do actors like Julian McMahon, the ones who often choose to embody these deeply flawed yet undeniably charismatic characters, how do they influence our collective cultural imagination?
Good question.
What does his legacy tell us about maybe modern audiences' evolving relationship with the anti-hero? And how might his specific nuanced performances have actually shaped that pretty significant shift we've seen in television and film over the years? Something to think about.